The May 23rd, 2016 meeting of the Environmental and Public Works Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please read the roll call?
Mr. Baroth. Chairwoman Boyce is excused. Mr. Brew.
Here.
Mrs. DeFlorio. Here. Mr. Flagler-Mitchell. Here. Mr. Howland. Here. Mr. Marinetti is excused. Dr. Carbone. Here.
Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
There's not.
Is there anyone present who is not signed up to speak who would like to address the committee at this time? I see there is none. Moving on to the approval of the minutes. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. You have the March 21st, 2016 minutes of the Environmental and Public Works Committee before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. At this time, we have a presentation by Rochelle Bell, Senior Environmental Planner, Department of Planning and Development Department, as it pertains to the Environment and Public Works Committee. Rochelle?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You should all have a copy of the proposed 2017-2022 CIP. I'd like to tell you a little bit about how we pulled this report together. In the fall, the departments are asked to submit their proposed 6-year program to the CIP Review Committee. The committee then works to get the program to match up with guidelines that include consistency from last year's program and adding new projects later in the program. And we consider financial constraints and priorities. And then we present, the CIP Review Committee presents the CIP to the County Executive, who then presents it to the Monroe County Planning Board. So during the winter, the Monroe County Planning Board reviews the CIP and places the capital year projects in priority order, the capital year being the first year of the CIP. Then the County Executive reviews their proposal, the Planning Board's proposal, and together we come up with the CIP that is before you today. In July, the Legislature will hold a public hearing on the CIP and vote to approve the CIP. And then the operating budget, when the operating budget is passed in December, the capital budget will be approved as well. In terms of Environment and Public Works, the sections of the CIP that are pertinent to your committee include the airport, which begins on page 21 of your CIP, Pure Waters, which begins on page 35, Facilities and Engineering, which is page 41, and the Water Authority on page 70. I'll be happy to take questions when you get to this item on the agenda. Thank you.
Next agenda item is new business.
Referral 16-0165.
Moved by Legislator Holland, seconded by Legislator DeFlorio. Any discussion? Legislator Baroth.
Thank you. Through the Chair of the Administration, regarding the Capital Improvement Program, I was sitting in on the Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting and heard that one of the requests or requirements placed upon the departments was a 10% reduction. And then, if I remember correctly, that overall there was a 9% reduction in the CIP program. So my first question is my recollection correct? That was 9% reduction through the Chair?
Chair, yes, that's what we achieved.
Thank you. And through the Chair of the Administration, my question pertinent to this committee is, for the airport, Pure Waters, Facilities and Engineering, and Water Authority, did they all come at 10% or under in terms of the reduction request?
Chairman, Environmental Services had an overall reduction of 19%, and Engineering Facilities Management had a reduction of 15%.
And through the Chair of the Administration, do we know about the breakdown for Airport, Water Authority, and Pure Waters? Or no? Pure Waters.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, Pure Waters is part of the Environmental Services CIP that I referenced earlier at 19%.
Thank you. But that does not include, through the chair, the Water
No,
Authority,
it's
correct?
only county funding. I didn't specify, but that was reflected as county funds.
Thank
So
you.
the airport and the Water Authority don't apply.
Thank you. Then through the chair of the administration, does the 9% reduction that you mentioned earlier include the airport and water authorities increases or decreases as the case may be?
No, that does not, that 9%, I mean, it does include the airport. It was total funding.
So it does include the airport and the water authority. Then, thank you to the chair of the administration. I know I could look this up, but it'd be a serious difficulty. Do we know if the request was an increase or decrease, and how much for either the airport or the water authority?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the airport total funding was down 0.5%, pretty much neutral, and the water authority is down 3%.
Thank you very much. Through the chair of the administration, I just have one final question regarding the very significant reductions on both pure waters and the facilities and engineering. Is there any concern on the part of the administration regarding perhaps deferred maintenance or deferred any repercussions 6 years down the line, 5 years down the line for such a reduction? Or are we comfortable that these reductions are still going to allow us to comply with the needs of the various facilities that we are trying to build or maintain? Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we didn't make any significant changes to the program. It was really as a result of projects programmed in 16 falling off, so to speak, off the program that contributed to the significant decrease. But no, I have no concerns relative to our ability to provide reliable service to the public.
So thank you. Through the chair, so I'm clear. What you mean is it was a planned drop-off in the first place, essentially, because we didn't lose anything.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, it was a planned drop-off, but also a conscious effort in the later years to make sure we're budgeting and planning appropriately.
Thank you.
Any other discussion among the committee members? Okay, a motion for vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 16-0167, authorized.
So moved by Legislator DeFlorio, seconded by Legislator Carbone. Legislator Brough.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, I just have a quick question, two quick questions actually. One is the agreement is for an approximate amount of $716,000 and $352. My only concern is, it's not even a concern, is I assume that there's no way we're going to hit a maximum on this through the chair to meet the salary requirements or the payment requirements for the 2 full-time deputies who are there for 20 hours a day or so.
Through the chair, we cannot exceed that dollar amount.
I see. So through the chair of the administration, 716, 352 is the absolute maximum.
Through the chair, that is correct.
Thank you.
Any other discussion among the committee members? Hearing none, entertain a motion, entertain a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carried. Next item.
Referral 16-0175, authorized.
Moved by Legislator Carbone, seconded by Legislator Holland. Discussion, Legislator Baroff.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, first off, I want to say it seems like a very commonsensical plan here. My question is, are these arrangements common or are they unusual?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, this is, I would regard as unusual.
Okay, thank you. And through the chair of the administration, if it's unusual, is this something that occurs? I guess I'm trying to get, is it unique or not?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, what's unique about this project is that it's physically located in the city of Rochester, but at the border of the town of Greece in very close proximity to a manhole that they can relatively conveniently connect to. We don't have too many examples of this around the county. In fact, this is the first time I've represented an agreement like this. We have had out-of-district customers, as you know, for different Pure Waters districts, but this is unique in that the property itself, the tax parcel itself is located in the city of Rochester, but receiving services from the town of Greece and Northwest Quadrant Pure Waters District.
Thank you. And again, I want to reiterate, this is seems like a very commonsensical agreement. Through the chair of the administration, my more significant question, I wonder, is in the referral, it states that there were no environmental impacts, no significant effect on the environment. And I wonder if we're constructing apartments and sewers, how can there be no significant impact on the environment? That seems unusual.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, based on the review that was done for this particular agreement, this is a Type 2 action per New York State rules and regulations, and it references it's a continuing agency administration and management effort and initiative, and that relates specifically to the agreement itself.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. And then finally, through you to the, through me to the, through the chair, to the administration, how much revenue are we expecting from this?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, there is a connection fee. It's about $350 for them to be able to actually physically connect. But the property itself will be a customer of the Northwest Quadrant Pure Waters, will be subject to their rates. They're proposed about 146 apartments, some small business and retail space as well. I don't have an estimate specifically on what we expect the revenues will be from the property, but again, they will be billed as a Northwest Quadrant customer based on water consumption and the capital rate established for the district.
Thank you. Then finally, through the chair of the administration, given that this is essentially services are being provided by Northwest Quadrant, I assume that the Northwest Quadrant is perfectly capable of providing these services at no strain. Through the chair.
Through Mr. Chairman, that is correct.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Regarding this referral, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item is carried. Are there any other matters to come before the committee? There being no other matters, the May 23rd, 2016 meeting of the Environmental and Public Works Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Environmental and Public Works Committee will be held Monday, June 27th, 2016 at 5:45 p.m.